Hello students, in our today's video session, we will discuss two important topics. They are electric field due to system of point charges and then electric field due to continuous charge distribution. In these two topics, you need some knowledge of integration. I hope you have prepared well about integration in standard 11th. Okay, before we start our today's session, I request you all to subscribe my channel Pratik Singh Classes. Like and share my channel and do hit the bell icon so that whenever I will upload a new video, you will get its notification. So let's begin our today's class. Alright, let us start our today's video tutorial. Today we will see first electric field due to the system of point charges. In our previous video tutorial, I have taught you about what will be the electric field because of a point charge or because of a system of two charges. Okay, today we will see about if suppose in a system there are a lot of point charges. In that situation, how much will be the electric field at any point because of all the charges. As you can see in figure 1.8 here, okay, we have 3 point charges. They are Q1, Q2 and Q3. Okay, and at point P, suppose there is a source charge or suppose there is a positive charge. Okay, so all these three charges Q1, Q2, Q3 are positive. Because of that, they will repel the source charge. That means Q1 and a source charge at P will repel each other. In that situation, the direction of electric field will be in the direction of this red color arrow. Okay, as you see here, this red color arrow. Okay, and then the electric field will be E to P. Okay, likewise, electric field because of charge Q2 at point P will be in the direction of this green color vector. Okay, likewise electric field at point P because of charge Q3 will be in the direction of this vector. Okay, that maroon color vector, that is E3P. Okay, so total electric field at point P is given by vector sum of electric field of all the charges, that is E total is equal to E1P plus E2P plus vector E3P. Okay, now let us try to understand the same thing in this context 132. Suppose a number of point charges are distributed in a space, okay, as given in this figure 1.8. Let me erase this once again so that you can visualize it very well. Okay, this drawing has gone so away. Once a minute. Okay, so now it is clear, you can visualize it very well. Okay, all right, so now fine. Once again, suppose a number of point charges are distributed in a space as given here in this system figure 1.8. we have 3 and they are distributed. To find the electric field at some point P due to this collection of point charges, superposition principle is used. Okay, about superposition principle we already have seen. What is that? Okay, if you haven't seen my previous video, I request you to go through my previous videos. The link of superposition principle I will give in the description of today's class. Okay, so here we have to follow superposition principle. Okay, the electric field at an arbitrary point due to collection of point charges is simply equal to the vector sum of electric fields created by the individual point charges. That means suppose that arbitrary point is this point P. Okay, on your screen in figure 1.8 at point P we have an arbitrary charge. Okay, and we have to find out, sorry, at point P is an arbitrary point and we have to find out what will be the electric field at point P because of charge Q1, Q2 and Q3. Okay, summarizing all, it will be equal to vector sum of electric field because of Q1 at point P plus vector sum of electric field because of charge Q2 at point P plus vector sum of electric field because of charge q3 at point P. Okay, that is equal to E total, that is equal to E1P plus E2P plus E3P. Okay, this summation is in the form of vector addition, not a simple addition, because electric field has magnitude as well as direction. It is a vector quantity. All right. Consider a collection of point charges q1, q2, q3 up to qn located at various points in space. Okay, in this figure 1.8 we have taken only 3 charges. Okay, they are q1, q2 and q3. If suppose we have a lot of charges, means q1, q2, q3 up to qn, in that situation, okay, total electric field at any arbitrary point P, okay, is given by vector sum of electric field at that point because of all individual charges. This is electric field due to the system of point charges. Okay, I hope you have understood this well. Okay, so E total, that is total electric field, E total is equal to E1 plus E2 plus E3 up to En. Okay, as you can see from this equation 1.6. Okay, we know that electric field at a point P because of a point charge, okay, that is E is equal to K into Q by R square. In our previous video session we have seen this equation. Okay, so here K is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. We know very well that is E is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into Q by R square into R cap. Okay, so total electric field is equal to vector E1 plus vector E2 up to vector En. Okay, here in all these terms K will be common, that is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught will be common. So taking that common thing outside, okay, that is taking 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught outside, we will have E total is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into Q1 by R square 1p into R cap 1p. Okay, this R cap 1p means a vector starting from particle 1 to particle P. Okay, here if suppose this is particle 1, okay, and here this is the point P on your screen, you can see. Okay, then this will be the vector of or the direction of R cap 1p. Okay, R cap 1p means starting from a vector starting from point 1 and going towards point P. Okay, or you can say that a vector whose tail lies at 1 and whose head lies at point P. Okay, so coming back to our equation, plus q2 by R square 2p into R cap 2p plus q3 by R square 3p plus R cap 3p up to qn by R square np into R cap np. Okay, so this is total electric field because a system of n charges at a particular point P. Okay, so this is the equation. Okay, this equation was asked once in 3 marks to find out what is the total electric field at a point, at any arbitrary point because of a system of point charges. Okay, here R1p, R2p, R3p up to Rnp are the distance of the charges q1, q2, q3, qn from the point P respectively. That means if suppose here this is R1 or this is q1, sorry, this is q1. Okay, here q2, here q3, here q4. Okay, and here is the point P. Okay, then R1p will be the distance from charge 1 to point P. R2p is the distance from point 2 to second charge to point P. Okay, this vector distance. Okay, R3p means the distance from third charge to point P. Likewise, R14 is distance from, or sorry, R4p is distance from fourth point to point P. Okay, so this is given here. That is R1p, R2p, R3p, or up to Rnp. Fine. equation 1.7 can be rewritten. Okay, equation 1.7 can be rewritten as E total is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into sigma qi by r square ip into r cap ip, where I is equal to what to n. Sorry. About this simple sigma you have studied very well in class 10th, last unit of mathematics, in statistics, in unit 11, that sigma means sum of all the terms multiplied together. Okay, so this is the general equation of total electric field at a point because of n number of charged particles. Okay, for example, in figure 1.8 which we have seen earlier, the resultant electric field due to 3-point charges q1, q2, q3 at point P is shown. We already studied in class 11th that if suppose there are 3 or 4 vectors or n vectors, then the direction of the resultant vector will be the vector sum of all the vectors keeping magnitude and direction constant. Okay, so here we have 3 vectors, one in this E1p, okay, then this one, okay, this is E2p, okay, which is parallelly shifted here, okay, and this is E3p, okay, which is parallelly shifted at this point, okay, and this vector, okay, this blue color vector is the resultant vector, or this will be the resultant vector of all the electric fields acting at point P because of charge q1 plus q2 plus q3. Okay, one important aspect said here is, note that the relative lengths of electric field vectors for the charges depend on relative distances of the charges to the point P. Okay, in our previous class we have seen that the electric field decreases as the length increases. If you haven't seen my previous video lecture, you can go through the channel list and you can see from there. Okay, this suggests that as the length increases from any point or from any charge, the strength of electric field will decrease, and after some certain distance it will become 0. Okay, the place where it becomes 0 from starting from the electric charge to that point will be the electric field in the vicinity of that charge in 3-dimensional manner. I hope you are clear with this topic now. Coming to our next topic, that is electric field due to continuous charge distribution. Okay, when we say continuous charge distribution, what does that mean? In our previous section, section 132, we have seen electric field due to a system of point charges. Here continuous charge, it means that charges are distributed at equal distance with each other and equal distance from an arbitrary point. Okay, the electric charge is quantized microscopically. Okay, charge is quantized. We have seen this word quantization of charges in our first video session. Okay, I request you all to go through my first video session if you have missed that. The expression, that equation 1.2, 1.3 and 1.4 are applicable to only point charges. Okay, about electric field at a point, then we have seen about dipoles. Okay, all those things, okay, they're applicable only for point charges. While dealing with the electric field due to charged spheres or charged wire, okay, charged sphere or charged wire means what? Okay, in our previous section 132 we have seen that if suppose charges are scattered in a system, okay, and we are interested to find out what is the electric field at point P, which is arbitrary because of all the point charges, okay, from there. If suppose we have a sphere, okay, means suppose a football you have, or a ball, or anything which is spherical in shape, and charges are distributed equally on the surface of the sphere, and we have to find out what will be the electric field in 3 different situations. Once when the point P is at the center of the sphere, then the point P lies on the sphere, or a point P lies outside at any point, okay, from the center of the sphere, or a charged wire. Charged wire means we have a long straight wire of finite or infinite length, and a point, arbitrary point P is lying outside this charged wire. Okay, and what happens there is charges are equally spaced and dimensionally, and they are arranged properly on the wire. Okay, and in that situation, because of all the charges, what will be the electric field at point P? Okay, that means because of this charged wire. So we will see this thing here. It is very difficult to look at individual charges in these charged bodies. Means if suppose we have a sphere, okay, and a lot of charged particles are lying on the surface of the sphere, in that situation we cannot count out, or we cannot visualize the individual charged particles, means a single charged particles. In that situation, what should be done? Therefore, it is assumed that charge is distributed continuously on the charged bodies, and the discrete nature of charge is not considered here. Okay, that means we assume that the charges are equally spaced and equally separated, and they are continuously distributed on the surface of the sphere. Okay, in 3 dimensions. The electric field due to such continuous charge distribution is found by invoking the method of calculus. Okay, about calculus, the rules of calculus you already have studied in class 11th first unit. If you haven't, just go through the first unit of class 11. Okay, we not need here very deep knowledge of calculus. We just need what is the formula for integration of x to the power n dx. Okay, that is x to the power n plus 1 by n plus 1. Okay, so just keep in mind this formula. Okay, in this equation, in this lesson, we will also be seeing the differentiation of x to the power n. Okay, what is that? Comment in the comment box. What is the formula for this? Consider the following charged objects of irregular shape as shown in figure 1.9. Consider the following charged object of irregular shape as shown in figure 1.9 here. Okay, this something like potato. Okay, this is of irregular shape and charges are distributed on the surface of this object. The entire charged object is divided into a large number of charged elements, delta q1, del q2, del q3 up to del qn. That means because of this irregularity, we just consider that we take a small parts. Okay, we divide it into n number of small and equal area or equal region, and suppose it has charges del q1, del q2, del q3 up to delta qn, and each charge element del q is taken as a point charge. Okay, there we consider all the points, okay, here delta q1, delta q2, delta q3 as point charges. Okay, so in this situation it will become very simple to find out what is the electric field at this arbitrary point P because of all the charges lying on the surface of this object. So electric field at point P, this arbitrary point P, okay, because of the charge del q1 is equal to del E1, delta vector E1. Okay, likewise electric field at point P because of this particle del q2 is equal to del E2, and likewise for del q3 is del E3. Here R1 is the distance from delta q1 to point P, R2 is the distance from del q2 to point P, likewise R3 is the distance from del q3 to point P. Keep in mind how to visualize these things. Once you are able to visualize the given figure, physics will become very easy and very interesting with respect to all other subjects. Okay, so electric field at point P, Okay, as we have seen in the previous figure, okay, due to charge object is approximately given by sum of the electric fields at P due to all such charge elements. That is, see, it is approximately, not the overall. Okay, we will get by this using this situation, using this visualization, we can get the answer which is very near to the correct answer, to the correct value. Okay, so vector E, that is electric field at point P, is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into del q1 by r square 1p into r cap 1p plus del q2 by r square 2p plus r cap into r cap 2p and up to nth particle, that is del qn by r square np into r cap np, that is approximately equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into sigma del qy by r square ip into r cap ip, where I is equal to 1 to n. See, many students have problem in reading this equation, how to read this correctly. Okay, this is read as, okay, one minute, let me change the color of the pen. Okay, this equation you have to read like this: 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into sigma del qi by r square ip into r cap ip, where I is equal to 1 to n. This is the correct method to read this. Okay, so this is the approximately total electric field at point P because of n charge particles which are continuously distributed. All right. Here del qi, okay, is the ith charge element and rip is the distance of ith charge element to point P. Okay, that is the distance of the point P from ith charge element, and r cap ip is the unit vector from ith charge element to point P. That means this is a vector whose let me write this once again: vector r cap ip. Okay, this means there is a vector whose tail is lying on the ith particle and the head is lying on the point P. That is the meaning of vector r cap ip. However, the equation 1.9 is only an approximation. Okay, means if suppose we have a law, suppose this is a three-dimensional ball. Okay, we have taken this region as delta I, delta qi, this as delta q2, this as delta q3. If we make a lot, if we divide this region into a lot of regions, small regions, even in that situation there will be a small gap in between the separations. In that situation we will not get the total electric field at the particular point P. Okay, in that situation what we have to do is we have to make this region as small as possible. So here, when anything tends to 0, when suppose the region becomes infinitesimally small, when limit tends to 0, in that situation sigma changes into integration. Okay, so that is given here. However, the equation 1.9 is only an approximation. To incorporate the continuous charge distribution, we take the limit delta q tends to 0, means the regions are being made as small as possible. So in that situation delta q, del q will be converted into dq. In this limit the summation of the equation 1.9 becomes an integration, and it looks like vector E cap. Vector E is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into integral dq by r square into r cap. Here r is the distance of point P from the infinitesimally charged dq, and r cap is the unit vector from dq to point P. That means a vector whose tail lies on dq and head lies on point P. Even though the electric field for a continuous charge distribution is difficult to evaluate, the force experienced by some test charge q in this electric field is still given by F is equal to q into E. We have seen earlier that electric force, okay, in the form of charge is equal to q into E. We have seen Coulomb's law in the form of electric field, okay, earlier. Okay. Now subtopic A. If the charge Q is uniformly distributed along the wire of length L. Once again, if the charge Q is uniformly distributed along the wire of length L, okay, as given in this figure, figure A, here is a wire, this is a wire, and on this wire, electric charges are uniformly distributed. That means they are equally spaced from each other. Okay, so this is the situation as given in the theory. Then linear charge density, that means charge per unit length, that is denoted by lambda, is equal to Q by L. Q is total charge and L is total length of the wire. Okay, its unit is Coulomb per meter. How? Q is the total amount of charge that will be measured into Coulomb. Q and L is the length or the distance, okay, which is denoted in or measured in meter. So the SI unit will become Coulomb per meter. Okay, that is for uniform charge distribution on a electric wire. The charge present in the infinitesimal length dl. Suppose we have this red color region. Okay, this is very small, whose length is dl. Okay, then in this region dl, the amount of electric field, the amount of charge present in this region dl is given by dq is equal to linear charge density multiplied by length, that is lambda into dl, as shown in figure 1.10a here. Okay, the electric field due to line of total charge q is given by E is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into integral lambda dl by r square into r cap. That is, here in this equation we have 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught and lambda value constant, so it will come out and it will become vector E or electric field E is equal to lambda by 4 pi epsilon naught into integral dl by r square. By this equation we can find out what is total electric field, okay, because of electric wire on which the charges are uniformly distributed, and at a point P how much it will be. Okay, now coming back to our second figure, okay, let us see it once again. Let us see this figure, okay, this one, figure 1.10b. okay, here this is a uniform space, okay, or uniform you can say in the form of a square or a rectangular figure, okay, and charges are distributed uniformly on the surface. Okay, then we take a very small region, okay, which is region P, and that is considered as a charge particle, and at point P we try to find out what will be the total electric field because of this charge particle at point P. Okay, if we divide this total surface into very small charge particles, then we try to find out total electric field because of all the charge particles at point P, and lastly we add them vectorially. In that situation we can find out total electric field because of this surface. Okay, so coming back to our theory portion, if the charge Q is uniformly distributed on a surface of area A, then surface charge density per unit area is sigma is equal to Q by A. Its unit is Coulomb per square meter. The charge present in the infinitesimal area dA is equal to, dQ is equal to sigma dA. Okay. This is shown in figure 1.10b, which we have seen earlier. Okay, so the total electric field is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into integral sigma dA by r square into r cap. Okay, here the constant terms will come outside, that is sigma by 4 pi epsilon naught into integral dA by r square into r cap. Okay, this is the situation as we have seen in figure 1.10b. Okay, so the third point, if the charge Q is uniformly distributed in a volume V, okay, as given in this figure 1.10c, then volume charge density, that is charge per unit volume, is given by rho is equal to Q by V. Its unit will be coulomb per cubic meter. Okay, the charge present in the infinitesimal volume element dV. Okay, as you can see here, this is very small volume taken out from this complete volume is given by dq is equal to rho dV. This is shown in figure 1.10c. Then if what we do here is we divide this total volume into infinitesimally small volumes, and we try to find out electric field because of all the volumes at point P, and finally we add them vectorially using integration. Okay, so electric field due to a volume of total charge Q is given by E is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into integral rho dV by r square into r cap, that is equal to rho by 4 pi epsilon naught into integral dV by r square into r cap. Okay, so this is our three subsections of electric field because of uniformly charged distributed surface or area or region. I hope you have enjoyed our class today. So this is the end of our today's session. I hope you must have learned something new. I have one request to everybody. Please, as much as possible, boycott Chinese products because they are earning money from us and they are using that money against us. Okay, so in our next topic we will study some important aspects. Till then, keep studying, keep sharing and liking my YouTube channel Pratik Singh Classes. Take care of your health. Bye bye.